Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to speak about the 10 things you need to know before you buy your first second-hand car. I'm going to be telling you this out of experience. I bought my first second-hand car in Kenya 1 year ago, and my experience was not so good, and I've compared my experience with other people, especially female buyers. And I'm not saying that male buyers are also not at risk, but the risk is more for female buyers. So I'll go straight into the video, and my first point, the first thing that you should note is do not visit the yard alone. Why am I saying this? When you're buying your car, you probably have your money ready, and for you, most of the time when people are buying second-hand cars, you mostly have the cash, and so it's money that's ready. It's not like you're going to get a loan from a bank, or even if you could, even if you are getting a loan from the bank, it's money that you've thought about. So this is a lot of money that you're talking about here, because getting a good car, you're going to need a lot of money. You have the money, you seeing the car that you probably like, you're going to be excited. And then the buyers, they'll definitely always be telling you all the positive things about the car, all the nice things, how low the consumption of the car is, how fast the car can go, how comfortable it is. You're going to get excited. So from the excitement, you might not be able to see some of the faults or identify some of the dents that are there in the car. This personally happened to me. When I went to see the car that I had identified and liked, I saw the car first online. So when I went to view it physically, there were lots of issues with the car, but I never saw any. I was already imagining myself in the beautiful red car. That's all I saw. Most of the faults were things that are actually there when I was viewing the car for the first time, but I never saw them because of the excitement. So kindly tag along someone who won't be as excited as you are, so they're keen enough to see the scratches, the dents, the non-functioning doors, or they'll be able to pick out more issues with the car than you'll be. The second thing, this is actually one of the most important things that I'm going to say in this video, is do not leave the car with the buyer once you've made purchases or deposits. Kindly go with your car. Do not leave the car. So what normally happens, especially when you're buying a car from a yard or from somebody who's selling several other cars, is they change the parts. Once you've gone there with your mechanic, you've identified the car, you've done a road test and every other thing, and then they tell you, maybe there's this issue that we need to fix. Let's say the headlights are not bright enough. So they tell you, okay, fine, we're selling you this car, leave it with us, then we'll change the headlights for you. Please do not agree. Do not agree. If there's anything to be modified in the car, kindly you do it yourself with your own mechanic. Never leave the car at the yard once you bought it, or with the seller. That is what happened to me. After I bought my car, I paid for it. I paid a deposit of, let's say, 80% of the total amount. So I left the car with the buyer. What he was supposed to do, he was supposed to clean the car. He needed to steam the seats because the seats were dirty. He needed to steam the seats, and something I think was supposed to be done on the doors. That's where my trouble started. Lots of things were changed. So when I was getting back the car, after he said the cleaning would take about 2 days for the seats to dry and everything to be fitted back in. When I was getting back the car, it was not the same car that I had built. The suspensions were gone, the shocks were gone. So don't leave your car with somebody else after you paid for it. Whether partial or full payment, don't leave your car. Go with it. If that's not possible, then don't take it. Number 3, if possible, do not pay the full amount without experiencing the car. If possible. This will be a very important step. This will save you a lot. There are things that you never notice with the car, but just doing a test drive or a diagnosis or taking it to the mechanic. There are some problems that develop or there's some problems that when you have the car for a short period, you never notice. So having the car for 2, 3, 4 days will tell you. And then that's the time you also notice things like fuel consumption, the comfort of the car, and much more. So if it's possible for you to talk to the buyer and agree that you can have the car for 1 or 2 days before making full payments, that's perfect. I would advise you to go for that. The other point is have more than 2 mechanics. Very important. Have more than 2 mechanics. And one of the mechanics should be a random mechanic, like just walk to any reputable how are they called any reputable car place, ask for a mechanic, go with the mechanic to the yard or to the buyer. Why am I saying this? So what happens, people have become so crafty to the point that a mechanic that you have identified can collaborate with the buyer to tell you that the car is okay when they know the car has a problem, so that you will be constantly be in need for a mechanic. That's what happened to me. The mechanic that I got, which was actually a recommendation from a friend who had owned a car before, and that's the mechanic they're using, and that's the same mechanic he's using up to date. They've never had issues. But for me, what happened, when he went to view the car, he got into a deal with the seller. So the car had issues, but then the seller told him not to raise the issues with me, not to tell me what was going on. Then after I made the purchase, when I take the car to him for like a few repairs, then now he would disclose all the issues, and then now he would make money from that. And that's what happened. So do not trust the mechanic, and even if it's a referral from your family friend, do not trust that mechanic. Have actually not 1 or 2, have 2, 3 or more mechanics view the car. One should be a random mechanic, somebody who you don't know and the buyer also do not know. Just pick any random mechanic, ask them to check the car out for you. That will save you a lot. The other point is, if you're buying the car from a yard, please read the terms and conditions. There are lots of things that sometimes are not written on the contract. So you'll buy a car, you're told the interest rate, you're told the total amount you're going to pay. If you're buying it on hire purchase, or lipa pole pole as people call it these days, the interest will be there, you're told all the details. And then there's some small things that you're never told about. So once you finish paying, or when you're about to finish paying for your car, you realize that the amount that you're expecting is not the balance that you have. The small things that you've never told about, like you'll be told to pay for a car tracker, some places charge for the yard charges. The small things. So when you're buying your car, make sure you talk to your car dealer. Let them write down each and every item that you're going to pay for, or each and every cost that will come with you having the car. That will save you a lot, so that you don't have to regret later or end up paying more than you had expected to pay. The other thing is insurance. So sometimes when you're negotiating for a car, if you're buying a second-hand car, that's what we're talking about here. If you're buying a second-hand car, the owner will tell you, the insurance for this car is not expiring until, let's say now we're in May, the insurance is not expiring until July or June or August. You can still use it. So that is more advantage. No, it's not an advantage. You cannot use that insurance. In case you use it, yes, the police will not arrest you, or you will be safe with the police. But then what happens if you get involved into an accident? Insurance won't compensate you, because the car ownership has changed. You're now the owner. You're the one who's supposed to be compensated. But then the person who insured the car is the person who sold the car to you. So if you made full payments, even before, even if you've not yet trained the documentation for the car, you should not use that person's insurance. I hope you note that. Okay. The next thing is servicing the car. Some of you are going to think this is common knowledge, this is basic. No, it's not. You will be so convinced not to service the car. Like a buyer will come and tell you, this car is a buy and drive. You don't need to do anything. I've just serviced the car a week ago. No, do not listen to them. Once you buy this car, please take it for your own service. Even if the car was serviced the day before you bought it. Even if you met at a petrol station when he was servicing, please service your car again. This will save you a lot. There's some unidentified issues that could be with the car. Once you take the car for service, this will be identified. And also just having the car at optimum when you buy it, you'll enjoy the car more. You'll enjoy the car more without the small oops and oops and oops. Especially if you're a first-time owner, please have the car serviced. The other thing is, this one, you really have to be keen, especially if you don't trust the mechanic you're dealing with, or if you're just new to cars. Make sure every light on that dashboard is working. Every signal should be working, and please ask what they mean. And if they're not working, that's also a problem. That's a problem. So what happened to me was, the guy who was selling to me the car, what he did was he went and taped off. You see, when you're viewing the dashboard, everything looked clear. There were no lights, there was no check engine, there was nothing. So what they did was tape those lights from the inside. So when you're checking the car from outside, everything looks okay. But if I had noticed that these things were actually not working, maybe I would have asked. So this is something that I'm telling you. Please check that out also. Because right now people have become so cunning, people have become so crafty, they can tape out the lights. So you won't see any check engine sign, you won't see any leaking fluid sign, but that should not tell you, that should not be an indication that the car is okay. Have it checked. The other thing is car wash. Do not accept complimentary car wash services. Do not. From anyone. Whether you're buying from an individual or you're buying from a car yard. It's only car wash, the maximum it can go when you do the vacuuming and all those things is, let's say, 2,000. Why are you risking your car? Why are you risking your money for 2,000? Do not leave your car with somebody. Just as I had said earlier, not even for car wash. Buy your car, drive off. Take it to the nearest petrol station for service. After that, then you can do your car wash. Please do not leave your car for anything. Car wash, whatever service, do not. Because the amount that you paid for that car, I'm sure you can spare 200 or 300 more for car wash. Do not leave your car. The other thing is be present at the garage. So in case the car that you're buying needs repairs, please be present at the garage. And for the ladies, it's better if you tag a man. Trust me, it's much, much, much better. I don't know how many times that I've needed a man to go to the garage just to help me out with things. Like, they even get different prices. Yeah, they do. So I don't know what happens when the ladies go to the garage, but mechanics see that as an opportunity to exploit them most of the time. Let's say 80% of the time. Especially if you're not a car fanatic, you really don't understand so much about cars, please find somebody to go with you. And then the other thing, this is a bonus point, stick to one mechanic. Once you find a mechanic who understands your car, once you find a mechanic who's faithful, once you find a mechanic who's affordable, once you find a mechanic who is works within your timeline, so somebody you leave the car with, and 3 days you still don't have a car to use, they keep telling you they've not found a spare part for your car, please, once you find someone who ticks all your brackets for a mechanic, stick to that one. Because once you have something repaired there, and let's say you change maybe a radiator, or you change something, okay, a radiator is major, let's say you just change the shock, there is a timeline for how long they should be effective or they should serve you. So when you move to another mechanic, that new mechanic will not be responsible for this other thing that you changed before. So when you're using one mechanic, you can hold them accountable. You can tell them, look, I changed this the other day. Why is it that I need to change this again? So that's the beauty of having one mechanic or sticking to one garage. Thank you for watching. If you've watched this up to this far, please subscribe to my channel and you'll be viewing more informative videos. I will not only be doing videos about cars, but I'll be doing videos about general informative life topics. Thank you. Bye.